Opening up the UFC Vegas 111 fight card, we have Miles Johns taking on Daniel Marcos. Miles Johns 15-4. It's hot in here. 15-4 in his career, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He is on an unfortunate 2-fight skid, taking on Daniel Marcos, 14-1 in his career, 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a decision loss to Montel Jackson. Miles Johns is an interesting guy to break down because he's a strong wrestler. He's got powerful hands. He doesn't always use the wrestling, though. He knocked a couple of people out, just stopped doing it. But he is a high-level wrestler who has competed in that sport. His cardio can be questionable, but at least for 1.5 rounds, this guy's going to get after it. He's going to get in your face. He comes forward. He brings the heat. He brings the pressure. He is coming off that close loss to Jean Matsumoto where he was aggressive early. He actually did wrestle, but then he started fading and just started bombing from the hips. He's taking on Daniel Marcos. Daniel Marcos is an effective striker. He's got good power. He's got good accuracy. He does a nice job stringing together combinations and then marching forward. He'll throw 1-2s. He'll follow up with some flying knees, some elbows. The takedown defense is also solid at 84%, and he's got a split down the middle between knockouts and decision wins, so you know he can fight long or he can find some power. He did just lose to Montel Jackson. He had 3 takedowns, but he just couldn't get his hands going. This is a newer fight on the card. They just announced it about a week and a half ago. I assume they both were heavily training because Daniel Marcos was scheduled in the future on a November card, and Miles Johns was supposed to be on this card already, just didn't really have an opponent yet.
I think he was supposed to be on last week's card.
Miles Johns was?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was this one. So
no,
either way,
Marcos up. They just bumped him back a week.
And where I was going with that is a short notice-ish Miles John and a short notice-ish Daniel Marcos might be 2 different people because Miles John's cardio already isn't great. And you start messing with the timeline, the weight cut, it might fade even faster. I think this is a very typical Miles Johns fight. I think he comes out hot. I think he swings for the fences. I think he has early success, and then I think he fades, and then I think Daniel Marcos takes over. If I was to cap this line, it would be pretty close to even. I would probably have Daniel Marcos as the favorite, maybe -120. I'm going to pick Daniel Marcos for that reason. I think he's actually the better overall fighter, despite Miles Johns being a little more aggressive. I was going to hammer the +3.5. It's -260, and it should be, because Miles John winning a single round makes a ton of sense. I was also going to parlay the over 2.5. For some reason, BetOnline has that locked. I don't know why it's locked. It's the only bet on the slate that is locked. So once that's unlocked, there will be some more bets coming. I'll probably parlay the over here, but I'm going to pick Daniel Marcos. What do you think, Jacob?
I truly believe in my heart of hearts that Miles Johns is about to become the fighter he could be. And I saw that against Jean Matsumoto. I'm a huge Jean Matsumoto. Hey!
Yes, continue.
Yeah, what's going on?
It got hot in here. This Hayabusa hoodie's fucking warm.
I really do believe that Miles Johns is becoming into the fighter that we all think he can become, because I'm a big fan of Jean Matsumoto. Hey! What is so funny? I have to keep redoing that if you keep interrupting me.
No, but I said ethnic.
I really do think that Miles Johns can become that fighter that everyone is kind of wanting him to be, because in that fight against Jean Matsumoto, he actually he did a lot better than I thought he was going to do. I'm a big Jean Matsumoto guy. Hey! And I really thought that Jean was going to dominate that fight. I thought it was just a terrible matchup for Miles Johns, but he showed better cardio. He showed willingness to throw something more than just the right hand. And finally, he brought back in his wrestling. He was shooting some good takedowns and getting control over this guy that's a really, really high-level grappler. Daniel Marcos in his last fight, which, by the way, Daniel Marcos is a former lock of the week, so maybe this is a bias pick, maybe it's a bias anti-pick, but his last fight against Montel Jackson, when he's coming into that fight undefeated and that fight starts playing out the way it could be, he looked fucking uninterested. He looked like he really didn't care. There was like a minute left in that fight and he's just kind of like jogging away from Montel. I don't know if there was an injury or what, but his attitude coming into that fight was absolutely fucking horrible. And what I know from Miles Johns is that dude's a fucking dog. Yeah, he will get tired. He might slow down, but he is a fucking dog. I was at the Apex in that fight versus Cody Gibson. This dude, Miles Johns, couldn't fucking breathe after 5 minutes going into that second round. But he dogged that shit out. He was dead tired, but he fucking dogged that shit out. In a fight that could be close, that could come down to a takedown here or there, that could come down to who has the forward pressure late in rounds and probably a close fight, I'm going to take Miles Johns in this fight 10 out of 10 times. Daniel Marcos also is a guy that I believe is going to be the first recipient of an eye poke DQ because he fights like fucking this. And he eye pokes people like crazy. And if it happens this week, oh boy, they're going to be fucking irate. I think there's an eye poke in here as well. Automatic point deduction. But, push comes to shove. I think Miles Johns is going to put it all together and look good against this guy, Daniel Marcos, who got dropped versus, he didn't get dropped, but he got hurt against Yanez. He looked uninterested in his last fight. I'm going to take my dog, Miles Johns.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I the only reason I didn't pick him is I don't trust the cardio, but I get it. I like him a lot. I've made a ton of money on him on those plus 3.5s, and I think we do more of the same here. I wish it wasn't minus 260. I don't feel like laying out that much money, and I wish BetOnline would let you parlay individual props, which they don't let you do. But if your sportsbook lets you parlay individual props, I think you could same game parlay this Miles Johns plus 3.5 and goes to a decision, or parlay either one of those two things. I don't think we have a finish. They're both very tough. And Miles Johns, if he doesn't outright win this fight, certainly wins a single round. If you do want to check out every single bet that we've done, that we've placed with our money, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. You unlock every pick, every bet, every tool instantly. It's $10 for an entire month. That month includes UFC 322, UFC 323, and UFC Qatar. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Couple of super chatterinos. Giordani says, thanks for the show, Ange, and then a milk bottle. You're welcome. It's weird. I got a DM earlier from Artem, and he was like, hey, be like on the show, try to be clean. My mom made a new YouTube account. My mom's going to be watching the show tonight. She loves you guys. I put her on to you. She wants to know, what I do for fun. And his mom just sent us a super chat. Artem's mom says, what do you guys think Artem is packing down there? He has quite a confidence about him. That makes me think he has a horse cock.
He has a
Thank you.
confidence.
Yeah. Oh, what I say? He has quite the confidence.
Yeah.
Well, Artem's mom, we appreciate you. Darker expert, wild screen name for an old lady in New Zealand, but we appreciate you. Thank you for the 5 spot. Also, Giordani. Wait, hold on.
Is his mom really watching, or I don't?
That was just a cool segue. Also, Giordani has his own show, and he interviewed John Jones, and they've got some clips and shows coming out from that. So watch that.